We're talking about Erica Kirk here. Rumor has it that she's linked to this Romanian orphanage, and she was an employee, or did she run it? We don't know. We're talking about allegations involving a Romanian orphanage, missing documents, anonymous former employees, supposed military connections, and even links being drawn to Jeffrey Epstein. She cannot run from these headlines. You have to separate these three things: what is proven, what's alleged, and what is speculation, layered on top of speculation. Right now, most of what's going viral about her is in the third category, speculation. So let's start with this first claim about her. There's an anonymous former employee who says documents were burned, that those records could connect the orphanage leadership to decisions they later denied, that this was deliberately done to erase a paper trail. That's the claim. But here's the first thing: anonymous sources are not proof. They can be real, they can be credible, but they're not evidence until they're verified. If documents were actually destroyed in order to obstruct justice, that would be a criminal offense. That would also trigger law enforcement action. That would leave traces, witnesses, statements, investigations, filings. Now, she ran this. I don't know whether she was 17 or not, 18, based on something her and her mother did. They ran a Romanian orphanage, and some of the girls came up missing. Some of the people, I don't know whether it was all girls or not, but they came up missing. They kept coming up missing. And then Erica and I guess her mother may have been banned from Romania. So this is where we at. Okay. Right now, what we have is somebody saying that this happened. That's not the same thing as being established. So we have to move on to a broader narrative. The orphanage operated out of Romania during a time when trafficking scandals were publicly reported in that region. That's a fact. Now we have all of this stuff coming out from the Epstein files of trafficking, sex trafficking, from one place to the other, Zorro Ranch to the island to X, Y, and Z. And some of her girls came up missing. These are facts because this is old news. These are facts. So Romania used to have, or they still have, and I'm not sure, serious trafficking issues. Historically, it's documented, I guess. But just because you operate an orphanage in that particular country doesn't mean that you're a part of the crime network. It's just called proximity logic. Okay, but that's not proof of involvement. Okay, this is where the story starts to expand itself. We can make those kind of connections. Most people are going to make those kind of connections. You're a part of the elite group. You were introduced to Charlie. Automatically, Charlie fell in love right then and there. Apparently, they knew he was going to fall in love right then and there. You were the wholesome, good old American, beautiful blonde, blue-eyed, crystal-eyed, blah, blah, blah. All that he imagined, and then they knew that you were the one for him, and he was going to pick you. We hear about these elite connections, family members tied to government. She used to date somebody that was an Israeli son. We don't know. These are the things that we hear. She was in a pageant with Donald Trump. Donald Trump knew her when she was a kid, knew her when she was younger. She was in power circles. Epstein overlaps. His thing overlaps with her. Military proximity. A person in the military was convicted of running a sex trafficking ring. This is where things start to stack on top of each other, and people say, whoa, it's not the same as linking. I get it. Just because two people operate in a similar space, elite spaces, does not mean they operate together. This is a big planet. But this leap is what transforms suspicion into conspiracy, and I get it. Now, there are claims of children going missing in each one of those circles. Forced adoptions, international transfers. But if these kids were transferred illegally, there would be some kind of documentation. But then I'm talking about regular, normal, everyday, ordinary people having paperwork. These rich people can pay not to have paperwork show up. They can pay not to have court filings, immigration records, adoption records, crossing the border, compliance checks. International adoption is supposed to be heavily regulated. Is that true for rich people? So the only way you would be able to traffic all of these children is if they were in orphanages or they were abandoned by their families. And then you wouldn't have any legal paperwork, specifically if somebody wanted to take them and put them in their house or their home without any kind of censor. Are there any fingerprints for these people? Has it been investigated? All the things are alleged. She ran a orphanage in Romania. Okay. We hear about supposed Romanian government investigation on a no-fly list. That's something would be public verification through Romanian authorities. If it exists, it should be confirmable through official statements. If it doesn't, then we are again dealing with the elite and unverified reporting and thus rumors. Here's the bigger thing. When stories contain anonymous witnesses, burned documents, elite notebooks, military overlap, Epstein references, silences from former staff people, this creates that gap. Okay? This creates that gap. Now let's talk about this silence. The argument being made is, if nothing happened, why isn't anybody speaking up? Silence can mean a couple things. It can mean legal advice, fear of defamation, non-disclosure agreements, or simply not wanting to engage with online accusations. Silence is not automatically a bad admission. She was running this orphanage. She was running an orphanage. Okay. And some of these women, some of these girls, some of these children came up missing, boys and girls. Okay, so Epstein, his part is brought into this. I'm not saying he's a part of it. I'm saying this is a part of the narrative that people are talking about. It's true. Epstein operated within elite circles. So did she. It's true that not all of his associates were prosecuted. It's true that powerful people were around him. But connecting unrelated individuals to Epstein through loose connections is extremely common online. Okay, people love this story. It's got rich, cabal, Illuminati. It's got all that goofiness in it. All that goofiness in it. This is all speculation. It doesn't mean that we got to ignore the Erica Kirk connection. This involves children. Why did children under her care come up missing? How did children come up missing? And apparently these had to be young children, because otherwise they would have written these children off if they were 17 or 18 as kids who ran away. But they didn't. So I'm assuming these children were young. So young children came up missing under your care, and you then got banned from Romania. So did anybody follow up about that? And then I heard the other day that she wants to start another orphanage or charity or something like that. No. Who would trust people in your care? Okay. Nobody is trusting children in your care. Well, I mean, maybe she's a part of the elite people. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But once that official Romanian investigation heats up because of this Epstein thing, a bunch of this stuff may apply. We don't know. We're just sitting here wondering, what's going on with you, Erica Kirk? Make that connection. These are serious allegations, and we know you belong to the elite class because they were training Charlie to be a part of the elite class, and you were introduced to him, and he fell in love with you day one, and you popped out 2 babies. You were older than him. You popped out 2 babies. Some of your past is kind of shady, said you wasn't dating when you was dating, said you were a good old wholesome girl when we know really you ain't no good old wholesome girl because you got a corporate past and all this good stuff. and you were linked to a military officer who was running a brothel, who was running some shady dealings with some kids, and you were connected to that. So we don't know what to think. All we know is you kind of shady, and we're going to keep our eye on you because we believe you are part of that elite group that get away with goofy shit. And I told y'all, some of these women like to do that wild, weird shit too. They knew about this. Those women involved in these things knew about these things that these men were doing. I'm not saying Erica is a part of it. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you ran a Romanian adoption agency or an orphanage or something like that, and kids that were younger than 18 came up missing, and they kicked you out of the country. Why? Why?